Welcome back to TW Garage. Today I'm going to change it up a little bit. Today I'm working on my old daily beater here. It's an old 2001 Honda CR-V, and last couple times I've had it out, it hasn't been running right. It has no power. The check engine light came on. I checked the codes on it. It's coming back that it's the catalytic converter. The catalytic converter is inefficient. So I'm trying to put the 2 and 2 together, and I'm thinking that maybe the cat had come apart because it is an older vehicle, and it is plugging the exhaust because it literally lost half the horsepower that it had originally. So so I'm going to take you through. I'm going to unbolt the exhaust. I'm going to try to remove it. I'm going to try to look and see if that's what it is, and if it's what it is, I'm going to try to knock the guts out of that cat and put it back in there and hope for the best. Yeah, it'll always have a check engine light on, but the converters for these things are fairly expensive. You can find some on eBay for like $100 or so, but in my experience, they'll always throw the check engine light because those cats aren't as efficient as the originals, and they'll always throw that code. So I went ahead and soaked the bolts down. I'm hoping that I could separate the manifold here in the front and then drop the exhaust off of it, and we'll see how that goes. I don't think that did it. No, it's not working too good. Nope. Okay guys, plans have changed. I can't get those front bolts off, and this mid pipe broke off. Not sure if you can see that. Yeah, old car, shit happens. So next plan is I'm gonna take a Sawzall and I'm gonna cut it off. Now I got everything undone and I'm rattling it. I hear something inside, so yeah, I'm still thinking it might be the cat, even though I don't see anything right here. But I'm gonna cut this off in the front with the Sawzall. And plan is, if that's not it, then I guess I'll sell a catalytic converter to somebody off of Honda. But I'm hoping that's going to be it. They said this thing lost a lot of horsepower, so something's got to be going on. So for everybody out there, you might want to close your ears. This might get loud. I don't know where the best place to hack this thing would be, but I'm just gonna pick one. Man, I might need a different blade. Alright, got a new blade. Let's see if that works any better. Well, it did until it stopped. There it is. All right. Now let's take a look to see if Well, that to me looks fine. So I don't know what the problem is. Maybe it's plugged. I don't know. All right, guys, we're back in the garage. I finally can look at the thing. The honeycomb on each end looks fine, but I'm gonna hold this so you guys don't think it's that. I'm not sure if you guys can hear this. There's something in there. Definitely is broken apart and doing something funky. So I'm not sure if this is still worth anything. I'll have to ask my buddy. Because some of these can be quite expensive. So I'm not sure if this one's any good or not, but I guess the only way to tell if I actually fixed anything is to take the vehicle down the road, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a little loud. I think I'm going to try to get this O2 sensor out of here and just save it for later. I got 2 other CRVs, so you never know, I might be able to use that. But yeah, definitely something in there, but I'm not sure if that plugged it up enough to kill half the horsepower of the vehicle or not. But I'm gonna try to get that O2 sensor out, and then we're gonna go for a test. All right, guys, we got her fired up. She's a little loud. Yes, and that's gonna get annoying pretty quick. But I gotta see if this thing's running any better. So we're gonna take her down the road. So be forewarned, this thing's gonna be loud. It's definitely better. It's definitely better. Still gutless, but yeah, it's a 4-cylinder, what you expect. But that definitely was the problem. Before, she wouldn't hardly rev over 4,000 RPM. It would completely fall on its face. I hope you guys can hear me. But if that cat's still good, hopefully I can get a couple $100 out of it, and then I'm gonna probably buy one of those cheap exhaust kits from eBay with that money. Hopefully put it, use that money to buy the new exhaust. That way it don't really cost me anything other than some time. So I don't know. That check engine light's always gonna be on now though. Nothing I can do about that. So there you go, guys. Sorry for the short video, but I got nothing else. The Mustangs are, I don't really have anything to do with those too much. But I sent the pictures to my buddy to see if that cat's worth anything, and then if it is, I'll sell it to him, and then probably order a whole new exhaust. I'm gonna even need the manifold because I can't get the manifold to separate. If you had one of these CRVs, you know that the exhaust manifold is like 2 pieces. The nuts were so rusted I couldn't get them. So. But I do kind of have an update on the dirty coupe. I did change the springs in the gates again, and I did get her to go 13, 14 PSI, and she was running really good. I didn't get that on video. I tried it with the GoPro. For some reason, it didn't record. But then when I posted a couple of those videos on Facebook, some of these people, they think, when they see a twin turbo, 302, that it should, be a lot faster, and it really should be. This car should be a whole lot faster. It's just not. That's because a lot of people don't really understand what engine is actually in that. That motor is actually out of a old Mustang 2. They came out with the 302s. 2 barrels. They only made 139 horsepower at 3,600 RPM. Very low horsepower. It's like one of the worst 302s you could ever own. And 139 horsepower of 302 cubic inches. Especially, and it made it before 3,600 RPM. So it's a low RPM, low horsepower, smog era 302. Okay, that's why I try to keep reminding people that this is not your 87 to 93 Mustang 5-liter HO roller motor. It's not. This is a cast piston, cast ring, flat tappet cam, stock as stock can get, and it's got turbos on it. Sorry for the noise, I got the garage door open. So this thing back in the mid 70s, depends on what year it came out of, either 74 to 78 Mustang 2, with an automatic, with a 2-barrel, because they never even put a 4-barrel on it. They wasn't even worth putting a 4-barrel on. That's how horrible they were. Okay, so in the quarter mile, the Mustang 2 with a V8 in it only ran like a 17-second quarter mile. Gutless. Okay, there's 4 cylinders today that could punish this thing in stock form. Okay, throw turbos on it, and that's why I was having such a hard time tuning that carburetor, is because the dang thing doesn't make any horsepower. Naturally aspirated, it doesn't. That's why if you watch the videos, you'll notice that the boost comes on real slow. That's because this motor does not breathe worth a darn. Okay, if I put a bone stock 5-liter HO roller in this car with this exact same setup, I guarantee you it would make 150 to 175 more horsepower than it does now, and it would spool those turbos almost instantly. If I hurt this motor on 14 pounds, I might just do it. If I hurt it, then I'll be looking for the 5-liter HO roller and put it in there. Then we'll see what she'll do. Okay, I'm just going to take a guess, especially if I keep it on 13, 14 pounds, that stock 5-liter HO would probably make, I don't know, just a guess, 450, 475 horsepower, somewhere in that range. And then this thing here being at 2,700 pounds, she'll run. She'll run then. I think the car runs fairly well as it is, because I know what the motor is and what it wasn't meant to do. Okay, that motor, like I said, it's the worst one you could ever purchase. So if you're looking for a 302, do not get the Mustang 2 engines. Okay, look them up. Between 74 and 78, even the King Cobra, 139 horsepower is what they made from the factory. Okay, now to put that in perspective, that little Honda CRV right there, those made like 140, 145 horsepower from the factory with a 4-cylinder, a 2-liter 4-cylinder. Okay, so if that motor and that Mustang was stock versus that one, that CRV would probably give it a run. It's sad, I know. I'm a Ford guy. When the smog era hit, they choked these engines so bad. And one thing I was actually worried about when I was tuning it is heat, because back in the smog era, they try to run the exhaust as hot as they could to help burn some of those exhaust gases, so the emissions would clean up a little bit. Well, I don't know what happens when you throw turbos on it. Does that get worse? You know, am I going to melt a valve? Am I going to damage the cylinder head? I don't know. I haven't yet. That's why if you can see the air fuel gauge on this thing when I'm on it, she's still rich, and I'm going to keep it that way. I'm not going to. Nope. My thought process on that is if I add more fuel to it, it'll help keep everything a little cooler, I'm hoping, and no, I won't hurt anything. But so hopefully that explains a lot of things, because like I said, a lot of people thought that this car should be a lot faster, and yeah, it should. It should. It's just they don't know the engine that's in it. Okay? The absolute worst engine you could. This thing would probably do better with a 2-barrel on it. Do a blow-through 2-barrel. That 4-barrel probably still a little bit too much for it, but I'm not changing it. She runs fairly well for what it is. Like I said, you can tell when it revs up and stuff. It's just, it's a very low horsepower. Now, could I make this engine run? Yes. Yes, if I had the money, I could, throw aluminum heads on it, put a big old flat tappet camshaft in it, do all kinds of stuff. Because the block's fine. It's just everything else that's in it is junk. And those cylinder heads, they're not even worth even messing with. Not even close. Heck, I think the cam lift on that thing is barely, I think it's in the 300 lift range. So I'm telling you, it is a low horsepower engine, which is where I was having issues. If that had the 5.3 HO, I think I could have tuned it a little faster. Just because it would breathe well enough to spin those turbos almost instantly instead of dragging it out clear through the RPM range before it builds boost. So that might be a future video for me, is swapping that out for a 5.3 HO. Of course, I'm going to have to retune that carburetor. That carburetor, yeah, it was a CSU, but definitely wasn't designed for this low horsepower piece of junk. Just wasn't. So that's where I had to take it apart. I probably took that thing apart every bit of 40 times, just trying to tune it. The fuel curve's all weird on it and stuff, just because it takes almost clear to the almost 5,000 RPM before it can reach maximum boost, and it's like that's too long. And it was hard to tune. But I think if the boost would come on and, like as soon as I stomped it went like to 10 pounds or to 14 instantly, that I could have tuned that a lot faster. But it's a learning experience, and that's why I bought the car. I just wanted to see if I can actually get this thing to run. I think it runs fairly well. But if I hurt this engine, I'm going to put a 5.3 HO in it. Or maybe, just maybe, it just depends on the funds. Everything's dependent on what kind of money I got coming in. I personally would love to try to throw a 351 Windsor down in this with those turbos, same carburetor. That carburetor should be good for, I don't know, just a guess, between 1,000 to 1,200 horsepower. The fuel system on it is actually fairly well. I mean, it's got a good fuel system. It should be good for at least 1,000 anyway. It's got big lines on it. It's got a big fuel pump. All that stuff should be good. Even that carburetor, I think it's either 600 or 650. Either one of those should still be good for at least 1,000. I don't know if I find the right 351 Windsor, even a stock one. I'm not against a stock one, but if it's like a 351 Windsor roller motor, yeah, that might be something I consider. Because the only thing I gotta change, I'm gonna show you guys real quick. The only thing I'd have to change would be, well, the header there, and then that little piece of pipe right there, coming from the header to the V-band. That's all I had to do is have that made, and then I can have a twin turboed 351 Windsor. It would be just that easy. And it wouldn't cost me a whole lot, just some time. So, but then I run into another problem where that T5 won't take it. So I'll be breaking that transmission too. So, and again, that might be for a video for the future too. So that's the update. Sorry about the CRV video. I had a plan, and of course it didn't work out the way I planned it, but that's life. So that's it for this video. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.